Right, so got another little job along the millions of other little jobs to do on board the boat. I need to get my IridiumGO up and going. So this is the aerial for it. Now I've pulled it apart a bit. I've taken a few bits off the bottom because I don't like the bracket and bits off on the bottom. Wasted $7 on getting a stupid plastic fitting and realised it was not the right thing to do. So I needed to mountain this onto my push pit. I've had a look at a few different areas and I've come to the conclusion that my push pit is the best place to put it. Yeah, as you can see, I've got glass and peel ply and stuff out. It means custom made brackets. Windy as far out, so we're not going anywhere in a hurry. I'm waiting for new solar panels to turn up. They're not turned up. The weather windows are shut down, so we can't sail anywhere, and it's all just turned to bollocks. So here I am making brackets. There's our flag, slightly worse for wear. So here's my bracket and my mould for my bracket. So get a piece of carbon plate, cut it out to suit the bottom of here. It's going onto the push pit here, but then where the cable actually enters into the stainless steel, there's actually a big hole in here. I'm making a nice little sort of cover for it because I don't want this here to be exposed to the sea air. So all the cable and connector is actually going to be hidden inside this fiberglass coaming that I'm putting in here. See if we can see it. There we go. So what I've done is I've got a piece of foam. You'll see there. A bit of Airx green foam. Focus. There you go. That's my former. So I quickly cut it to a rough shape and gave it a little sand and came up with this geometry. I've then actually covered it with my Teflon release tape so that nothing's going to stick. But it will stick to my carbon bracket. Focus. There we go. So it's going to be laminated to the bracket here, and it'll be laminated to this brown stuff, but it won't stick to the brown stuff. It'll actually come away, and that'll come out and leave a cavity for my coax cable to sit in, and hopefully just protect my fittings. So this is a quick and dirty way to make custom made bracketry. It's a bit of a splash turn mold type thing. So I'll laminate all under here, get that to cure. Then it's a fun job of sanding, trimming, painting, making it all look half decent, put it on, and then I'll be able to stick my aerial on there. So yeah, several days of work to mount an aerial. Wish my $7 fucking plastic one would have been good. Here we are at the final step of our preparation. So you just saw outside I had the piece of carbon plate out there that was hot melted into position. My former, which was my piece of foam, it was covered in all my release tape, and my little bits of glass stock that I'm going to use to cut out and laminate with. I got my paintbrush ready, I got my mixing stick ready, I got my mixing cup, I got my scales, I got my resin, and my humongous mess that is a room requirement. There's been a project, several months worth of project there. And I got these, the biggest letdown to the job, vinyl gloves. Thanks to this little thing that's going on in the world, supplies such as masks and gloves have become really difficult to get. So here in Cadiz there's very little in the way of gloves. So I've got these vinyl pieces of rubbish. Hopefully they don't bust and split open on me halfway through. But yeah, we'll see how I go. So I'm going to do some laminating. Excuse me. You can hear my enthusiasm for this job. Anyway, I'm going to do some laminating. Okay, so I've laminated it. Everything's peel plied. Laminated to the bottom of the whatchamajigger. Can't focus on diddly squat. But yeah, so I'm about to demold it. See how it looks. Got a little bit of a resin dribble going on here. Not ideal, but sharp knife will get rid of that. This is our stern light. Bit of awesomeness from the previous owner, you know, get a bit of plywood and just bolt straight through the staunchion. That's not going to leak into the engine room at all. No. Anyway, I'm going to have to move that as well. One job leads to another, onto another, the knock-on effect of jobs on a boat. Right, so I'm going to demold this and mark it out for trimming up. Right, so it's demolded. And I've marked it out a bit. And it's getting really windy. It's like blowing 26 knots at the moment. So it's getting up there. Be a good day for wing foiling. So this now pops off, which is really cool. Ugh. Pops off, there you go. Beep. Look at that. It's a thing. Focus on the thing, you silly thing. Yeah, so now I can get a cable run down in there. That's the hole that the cable will go down. That's the old stern light wire hole. So that'll get a little bit of tickle up and deburred and de-sharpened and all the rest of it, so that I can get the, what do you call it, coax cable with the plug down there. That'll be fun. But even with this in place, even though I sort of got it clipping on, probably won't clip on after I've trimmed it up. What I'm going to do to make sure it's 100% secure is I'm going to drill and tap 2 holes into the handrail at the top here, there and there. That way I know it's, because there's still a little bit of wiggle in there. So I'll drill and tap those securing holes in the top there, and that'll make it solid as a rock. Trim it up, give it a sand, and then start the painting process, the painful part of composites, making it all trying to look pretty. Yeah. Right, so drilled and tapped 2 screws into the top. Now we're solid as a rock. You know, get a little tiny bit of wiggle, but nothing. It's not going to fall off, that's for sure. So yeah, now time to trim it up and see how it looks. Right, so focus. This is what it looks like inside. So I had to make some funny little joggles and jiggles and wiggles to make sure it went around the adapter thingy and the cable and all the rest of it. So looks like I've got enough clearance there. All looking good. That's all. Oh, that's right, because it curves around there, so it should be right. Yeah, well, looking good. Right, so I gave it a bit of a trim up. So now time for a bit of a dry fit. So that's the aerial on the bracket. That's how it's looking. Yeah, seems to have come up quite nicely. Should cover the cable that's going to come out of the bottom of the aerial. Should be fairly solid. Yeah, not looking too bad. Around this side. Cool. Looks like it'll be alright. Shouldn't get smashed off too easy, I don't hope. Yeah. So, it's cool. Next part will be, what am I doing next? A little bit of filler, then a splash primer. Right, here's my thingamajig. Gave it a quick primer. There's nothing quick when it comes to composites and paints.
It's nothing quick when it comes to Shane Young.
So let's say it's not quite 5 minutes worth of work. There's a couple of hours of sanding, shaping, and getting it to the stage. And now I'm going to give it a quick splash of white paint, and there'll be several coats of that because the white paint we have is super slow and super thin, so that it lays down nice and flat, and it's such a pain in the butt to use. But thankfully it's a small part, and I'll be able to paint it inside and have the heater on it and try and get 2 coats a day instead of 1 coat a day on it. And I need to get it done soon because it's about to pour down rain, and I have a really big hole in my boat that this is supposed to cover and seal up. So yeah, got plenty-on.com. Okay, so I finished off my gadget the other day, but I didn't video it, the painting part, because I got busy and ran out of time, etc, etc, etc. So I'm gonna have to show you a finished product installed on the boat and while we're yachting. So this is what it came out like. It came out not too bad, and it works quite well. You know, it's really nice and solid, so super happy. The cable is completely hidden inside, so that came out stunning. Yeah, so I've got the cable, coming out of the stainless steel tube here, and basically you can see where it does the bend out of there and comes under there, and it goes down inside. Super simple. Nothing. Got some screws underneath there holding it on. Yeah, came out minter. I still need to, there's a couple of old screw holes in the stanchion here from the previous owner. Thank you very much. There's kite flapping in the background. So I'll cover them up with a bit of white sticky back along with that hole there. Yeah, I actually glued this underside here with some Seeker focus camera, you can see, because the stainless was a bit bent and buckled, and there's a couple holes in the top, so I wanted to actually seal all that, like I want to seal all the holes in the stainless here. And the actual aerial itself, I've got a tiny bead of glue or Seeker between the aerial and the bracket. I Vaselined the bracket. Probably wasn't the right product because Vaseline will probably eat my plastic, but anyway, that's what I had on hand and that's what I needed to do. And the reason I've done that is to, I didn't actually want to glue this to this, I just wanted to create a little gasket for it to stay attached. So I lubricated one side and glued the other, put the bead of Seeker down, and then I didn't actually tighten it very tight to try and keep a little bit of thickness of glue, and then the next day I came back and I tightened the screws up a tiny bit. Yeah, came out pretty glam.